I saw the camera that was in there. That was a beautiful pic. Yo, look, you don't want this? Yeah, man. Knowledge, wisdom, love, and laughter. We're gonna start off with some laughters.
Yo, that laugh is wild.
Yeah. Yo, it came really easy though. It was like my Joker laugh. What's up? What's up? What up?
Oh, Belbe, I know you was all the way asleep. Having two phones is awesome.
Mm-hmm. 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 You can be up here closer to me.
Oh.
Just want to be nudgeable. That's all. Just want to be nudgeable. I got you. I'm gonna get him.
Okay.
Yeah, you get yourself situated.
I'm situated. I'm not situated.
No, you're not. I situated. No, I see you still doing your shit. I know. You get comfortable on me. In your sleepiness. In your sleeping. You get comfortable on me, okay? Okay? Oh, this. You don't want to get comfortable on me.
Patience. I noticed today they just really like to take their time. Like they were sitting here on my boob, and one of the things that I tried to do in the past was like put them back on the boob when they detached, but they just sat there and like sucked on their hand for a little bit, and then they went back. So they just have their own timing.
Boomy gave me a message. Okay, take your time. That's a nugget right there.
I got you. I appreciate the nuggets you share with me. That flying hack is very, very lit. I used that several times today.
I love to fly. Fly like an eagle up in the future. Oh yeah. Fly right straight to the future. I will use this device to invite. Right to Detox is live. Knowledge, wisdom, love, and understanding. Welcome to knowledge,
wisdom, love, and laughter. I guess we could change it to Quillo.
Quillo.
What up, y'all? Welcome to our evening segment of knowledge, wisdom, love, and laughter, where we talk knowledge, wisdom, love, and laughter. Today we're deconstructing gender roles and talking about non-binary, gender non-conforming, as a non-gender conforming, non-binary being myself, heavily masculine energy. I'm AX.
Remo 369, and this is Baby Imani. That is in between transitioning to night land. Do you want to try to put them on the booby since they uncomfortably woke them up? Man, not really.
Oh no, absolutely.
You don't mind?
Oh, baby.
Because they want to soothe themselves.
Oh, baby. Hi, Bobby. I got you. Take your time. Take your time.
Awesome. There we go. And we're talking non-gender conforming roles. We also like babies teach you some of the dopest patience in the land. Like, it's because like they know exactly what they want. They don't conform to you because you want them to move or go or be quiet. And our child is a non-binary, masculine presenting being, non-gender conforming, and we're leaving them that way until they want to choose to be whatever they desire. But right now we're leaving it open. What you about to say? You was about to say something?
Oh, I was just gonna add in how I did their astrology chart today, and they have 8 feminine aspects and 2 masculine aspects. So a lot of the times, the reason why we're talking about gender norms and gender roles is because today we were on 19 Keys Live.
Higher level conscious, nigga.
Shout out to Oakland. Shout out to 19 Keys. Shout out to those that are in alignment with Allah. What's up,
Assalamu alaikum wa alaikum assalam.
So we're talking about deconstructing gender roles because we were on 19 Keys Live, and he was talking about what it means to be a man and what it means to be a woman. And so I posted in the comments, shout out to all our non-gender conforming folks who are actively changing the narrative. And homie went all the way in. He was like, man is man, woman is woman. And that's a very common communication about what it is to be in this life. But it actually stems from white supremacist, white failurist colonization standards of what it means to be a man and a woman. That's where it trickles down from. So
trickle down economics, trickle down nomics, trickle down knowledge, trickle down wisdom. And 19 Keys is a pretty dope individual. He's very masculine, left brain, like very in the nation, his culture, the cultures we come from determines your, like how you was talking about the baby have several different placements, female frequencies in their chart. Knowing your frequencies and your placements. What up, Deke? We both got to talk to you earlier. But knowing your placements in your chart, it allows you to balance your feminine and masculine frequency. We all have masculine and feminine within us. What you mean? We all have male and female. We all have those. So there's certain things that are in our body to do. So the word solution. Certain words are masculine or feminine. If you study in languages, there's certain masculine words and feminine words. So it's the man is man and woman is woman is outdated as fuck.
Right.
It needs an upgrade. It needs an upgrade to the system.
Right, because man is man, like I said, man is man and woman is actually defined by colonizer standards. Yeah, I know, we need to get the little boogie thing for you. It's defined by colonizer standards, and it doesn't actually give us the grace to embody our full spirit selves. Because our full body spirit self has both divine and masculine and feminine frequencies, just like the yin and the yang. masculine and feminine, and even thinking about what it means to be hypermasculinated. A lot of the reasons why there's this like very like pro woman movement happening right now is because it's true. Like the female presenting form has engaged with a great deal of oppression, and part of the ways that female presenting people have compensated is by heavily embodying the masculinated frequency, putting themselves in a very strong place, and definitely rocking with divine feminine frequency and how important it is to have feminine presenting beings be more visually represented. But if there's an overbalance of either the feminine or the masculine, it's overbalanced or underbalanced, and it creates chaos.
Yeah, the whole purpose is to be balanced within yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I added to my Neo Rick and Morty. I said, "Fuck your patriarchal system," and the matriarch is missing. It's a gotriarch. We got the vision, right? So like, adding those parts, right, is not negating either one is better or worse than the other. It's everyone has them, and the systems of governing that you governs your mind, body, and soul. Because like, yeah, somebody was like, Moorish Lighthouse, the one that be talking about all the Moors and the state law.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we are given due process, right? And because it's our right, not because a governing body told us that. It's our God given right to have a trial by due process. Nobody can't just blame people. Be like, oh, I had a dream that you did this and you got to go to jail, so you won't do that, or X, Y, Z. So in this, right, there's a system of due process that requires people to present their stories, present the pictures, and based off of that, man will make the best decision possible. That's why every leader has a spiritual advisor. And 19 Keys is going into that spiritual advisor role. Like, listen, like I grew up in the Nation of Islam. My grandfather was Nation of Islam. My grandmother, she studied all of the religions and dialect in the Hager Church. Half my family still studied Islam inside of Newark, New Jersey, which has the most Muslims in the land, in this whole galaxy. Per square footage, Newark, New Jersey has the most Muslims, and that's where I'm from. So when I get to hear somebody like 19 Keys do that, because he doesn't, the ramifications of sharing those sounds for however how many moments, you're directly either empowering one of the matriarch or the patriarch, and two, tearing down. And because you're a high level conscious individual, when you jump on streams, there's a level of responsibility that comes with that. Because then you come across somebody that see what you're doing. And remember I said all false prophets got to go. And I'm gonna be 1,000%. Y'all love the honorable Elijah Muhammad. That nigga was a false prophet. So, but that's my 2 cents. But like y'all study them, like.
And I think when we break it down, and breaking it down in terms of what a prophet is, and this is just an observance and recognition of self as spirit. It's just being able to take account of a prophet is just another term for someone who's in tune with God, who's in tune with the ancestors, and ultimately in tune with self.
Yep.
Because when people drop down on their knees and they pray to a God, and they're asking, like, God, please show me the way, they're just in a position of where their emotional state is at such a point where they're like, look, higher self, I really need some assistance.
I really need some assistance.
Like, I really need a clear sign of how to bridge the gap between my third dimensional self and my fifth dimensional self, and how can we have a communication? Because that higher self, there's an innate version of ourselves that's always our higher selves, that's always guiding us to live our goals and our dreams, as long as we're willing to listen to it. And those that are highly tuned in are the ones who are called prophets or shamans or spiritual leaders, spiritual advisors. And the thing about being a spiritual, and ultimately it's being a spiritual advisor to your own life and living your best version of yourself and other people seeing it. And that's an awesome filter, by the way.
With the moon?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Because if I tell myself that I love myself and I offer that cup runneth over energy, and I'm in full acceptance of my demons and my angels. Today, one of the vibrations had mentioned, like, because in the verses, I performed yesterday at Versus, shout out to Versus Open Mic. Shout out to Lorna. What up, Lorna?
What up, Al?
What up, Lorna?
I don't want to be under this.
Um, and I performed something, and one of the things I was saying, I love myself. I love my demons and my angels. Come out to play. Let's come here, demons. Let's come out to play. And one of the vibrations commented was like, "What do you mean inviting the demons out to play?"
Yes. Oh, you don't know?
But our demons, they're just versions of ourselves, and being able to play with them, they only have as much power as we give them. And it's our choice whether or not we decide to utilize them. Because if we're not actively aware of our demons, then somebody else is using them.
Mm-hmm. Somebody else is, and I'm gonna bring it back to where I was talking about because this conversation started of us calling out 19 keys, and I say we called them out because when you have a level of authority and responsibility, right? It, when you go in on the frequency and when it triggered me, it was like, oh, he's a overly masculinated female that isn't in touch with his feminine frequency. Um, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he tapped into frequencies, energies, and vibrations of the youth, and he had a whole nation with him. I called him a false prophet because he wasn't out front and forthright with his macking or his pimping, because like the thing about it, he can only show so much of his hand. Um, Look at my lips now. So uh, there's a lot of things that when you call out to the ancestors, they give you messages back. And like I said, I've been engaging with the spirit of Malcolm X. I've been engaging with the spirit of Nina Simone. I engage with the spirit of my grandfather. Like I don't like I tell everybody Malcolm X got Malcolm X killed. People like, who killed Malcolm X? His mouth. His words got him off. And what you mean by that mindset? Like, okay, so you're in a gang, right? And the gang is called the Nation of Islam. Their enforcers are called the Fruit of Islam. That's their military. Their nation. They start off Nation of Islam. So you, the crazy thing about Malcolm X, he used to be a pimp, and he wind up getting pimped by the nation because they control all his money, his assets, his resources. And the moment he stopped doing what the master was saying, i.e., Elijah Muhammad, if y'all haven't watched the documentary on Bumpy Johnson, if you haven't watched the Godfather of Harlem, you should watch that because that one shows the true Elijah Muhammad.
And
Go ahead.
And the reason, and talking about false prophets versus true, is like, I Elijah Muhammad was doing business with the government.
Straight. Yo, he was a plant, bro.
Yeah.
He was one of the biggest. He was all loyal to the dollar.
Right. That's exactly what the government is.
Yeah, he was loyal to the dollar, and being in a capitalist country, like when you're loyal to that, I'm gonna bring it back to your demon thing, right? When that person brought up that comment, if you don't know a difference between a demon and an angel, and you can't see it, like it's an energy and motion. Like there's certain demons that are shame, anger, fear, despair.
Because demon is just a vibration.
That's it, bro. Like they get stronger and stronger, like Shaman King, when more people are believing in that demon. That's why fear is a very powerful thing. People, we tying it into the gender nonconformant. A lot of things from our cultures were demonized. A lot of from Oya to like they were demonized and then they were weaponized against the ourselves. So talking about Elijah working for the government, working directly, not working with them. He thought he was working with them to keep some of his people from getting bloodshed. No, he was working for them. He was just like a CIA agent informant. So I talk about Elijah Muhammad in 369. I could care less about him, but you're going to hear the real from my mouth. There's some vibrations that they idolize the people just because they're in their nation. I don't idolize 19 Keys. I don't idolize Derek Grace. I don't idolize Brother Ben X. I don't idolize Billy Carson.
I don't idolize anybody for real.
Like,
that means you're putting somebody on a pedestal, and that means that you are creating something where they're above you. And nobody is above you. Nobody's above anybody because we're all consciousness.
Yeah. So a lot of masculine presenting beings in the Americas that came up in this capitalist system that is being because an American nation of Islam versus somebody that's overseas that's Islamic, they're two different frequencies because they came up in two different experiences. So, like, really rocking with your nation, you should be able to visit other nations. Like, I'm my own nation. I got 19 nations. That's those are my United Nations, right? United Nations of mindsets. That's what our UN, and that's our allies. That's our network. I'm in 130 countries, right? Listen, we've been becoming famous and unfolding for the past 6 years, and people think you could become famous overnight. And when I made it out to the Bay, right, the Bay allowed me to break down the barrier, that barrier of gender. Like I said, I had four boys, and I had four girls and three boys when I was out in the Bay, and then I had my fourth boy, and then like my children are they show signs of both masculine and feminine all the time. So me personally, being raised by a bunch of women, being raised by a dope ass mom that was highly masculinated. She used her abilities, but she also used her feminine macking. Raised by my grandma, my grandpa leaving a lot earlier than what he should have. That's systematically set up for our households because we don't really know who we are.
And, and I think that what I wanted to build on with that is like the conversation of what a boy or a girl is. It's just a conversation. It's just a perspective. Hey, Bobby. Hey. Hey.
Namyo.
I literally see stars. Try this again. What would you like? Burp?
Yeah, we do a burp. Okay. Oh, let's burp. We up now.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yep. Hi, Kobe.
That's because y'all wanted to see the baby. My baby was out before we did this live.
That's true. They was sleeping.
But honest.
But
what we're talking. Oh, you want to add your 2 cents?
Yeah. I think calling oneself non-binary is really like when it comes to identification of what it means to be masculine, feminine, boy, girl. Again, like a lot of the traditional identities that we know about are created by white failureism. There's a vibration named Alok Ved Manan who has done a bunch of research from, and they went to Stanford University and they studied LGBTQ. I can't remember exactly what they studied, but it was definitely within the LGBTQ community. That was the focus of their works because they're a very gender non-conforming person, and so they studied how colonization has created definitions of what people, traditionally indigenous peoples, have been engaging with. Multiple indigenous peoples have multiple gender roles, like several gender identifications. So,
and because spirit doesn't have a gender,
exactly,
like that ginger shit is human. So for people that are two spirits or shamans deal directly with the disease of the spirit, like uncalibrated. Like I read that today. That was in today's
mathematics.
It was in today's mathematics of our red road. So like I read some people read a Christian devotional. I read a devotional by indigenous people, but still written through a colonizer perspective. But in reading that, shamans handle. Oh, there we go. There
it all goes. You swallowing some of that?
Nah, yeah, he's like, I want some of it. I'm gonna keep some of that. So shaman deal with the diseases, and our communities have been plagued with not knowing how to. What does a real man look like? What does the family look like? And we watched part of the tour. We went to Lake By Folklore Society because my people's at Ifa. So the African diaspora was really hidden from us, and we couldn't even like worship our gods. We couldn't worship our. Let me try. We couldn't worship our ways of life. So when you realize that Orisha don't have genders and they don't conform, and you start calling yourself a god, you can't call yourself a god and just say, I'm only going to be the girl gods, or I'm going to only be the boy gods. And that's where a lot of these peace gods are rising to. And what you about to say?
Yeah, and because that makes me think about what we call the womb space, right? The yoni verse. Um, and talking about like something that I know is that there is a magic to being the person that has the womb space and holds the child within the womb, but that also wouldn't be possible without the seed that it comes from.
Ox was talking about this.
Yeah. And it's not to I think a lot of the reasons why there's a downplay or an upplay of either gender is because of the fact that spirit is part of our test coming here as humans is to learn how to integrate via communication, um, to communicate better with our versions of ourselves as we learn what our definitions of selves are from the separation, because all is all consciousness. So all is all consciousness, and the reason why consciousness split itself into visual indications of what it means to be separate, because I'm this phone, I'm this thingy thing, I'm this baby is me, we're all each other, and we just learn what it means to be separate so that we can learn more about ourselves.
Big facts.
So a lot of the reasons why we have different versions of what we look like in terms of our gender identity is because spirit has manifested itself to go through trials of I am man, I am woman, I have these separate things that define me as who I am, and yet we're all interconnected via consciousness.
Yeah. So we from our story talking about 19 Keys doing that. One of we were talking about privilege, and like having this family gives us privilege to other nations. It gives us privilege to other consciousness. Um, our birthday, we wrapped up the Apocalypse tour. It was a major success. She was talking about at Versus when you performed. We got to perform with Baby. This is not, you see, we talked about the trauma and the drama, right? Now we show you how to transmute that. Because we go into certain places, like you can go on tour in your neighborhood, you can go on tour in your region, in your city. You just go to places and with intent to be able to hold space and elevate the space, or transmute the lower frequencies and vibrations. Like you're alchemizing the area. So our tour is about the Apocalypse tour, where we're revealing. So we was watching the Netflix Who Killed Marsha P. Was it Marsha P. Johnson?
Marsha P. Johnson.
Who Killed Marsha P. Johnson, which was a transgender that lived in the Village in New York, and it's been a cold case since '92. And the thing about it is, it showed the ugly side of this country, like that. Those good old men you got, in order to be a protected provider man, like no matter if they were gay or not, their lack of appreciation of both the male and female inside of them showed out in hate. Like what came up in your conversation, you triggered 19 Keys.
Absolutely.
And by triggering him, now he's off his square. So like if you're playing chess, it's called being on tilt in poker. If you get somebody on tilt, then it's time to get that money, because what he did, he took 10 minutes to downgrade our level of thought, because he has the platform, and he was building up those that are overly masculine, no matter if it's female or male. Like learning how to submit, right? My feminine energy can submit to your masculine energy. My masculine bodies can submit to your feminine bodies. Your feminine frequencies can submit to mine, and certain vice versa. And that's what happens with Baby.
And I think what happens too, it's like talking about gender nonconforming, gender identification. It's like I know that me speaking on my non-conforming gender identity is relatively new in my existence, and like I said, like a lot of feminine presenting females females, males, but a lot of feminine presenting bodies, we have adapted to adopting highly masculine, and this is masculine as identified and created through the indoctrination system. We've actively engaged with adopting masculine type identification or actions and behaviors because of the fact that we've been engaged with violence and oppression.
Mm-hmm.
And so balancing the scales back, coming back to a sense of balance is I have feminine energy within myself, and learning how to heal oneself and going back to yes, like I know now how to balance my masculine and my feminine frequency. It's when you come into relationship, it's like I can be as masculine as I desire. I can be out. I can penetrate space. I can push myself out, which is what the masculine energy represents, and then the feminine is the receiving. And I know that being more in my masculine energy, learning how to come back to a place of receiving and learning how to submit, because a lot of like what I see a lot of is a lot of with a lot of feminine vibrations, and it makes sense again with the level of violence that feminine vibrations have engaged with, why there's such a pushback. It's like anti-man, like, and
No, we can do this by ourselves. We don't need,
right.
come on, women, let's come together. And the thing about that, right? Like, so I interviewed on my therapist's show, and she's, it's called Her, it was like the Her Tour. And she has her story. Shout out to Naisha. She has a Netflix original that's out already about her story. And the tour that she's on right now, that's Sonia going ham.
What
Thank
up,
you,
Sonia?
Non-gender conforming out in Canada. But like the thing about her story is like she was like it was like a few days before we went live, and we added this a part of the tour because our tour is not just physical place. Like we got one, two, three, four, five, six, seven broadcastings. We're broadcasting through several streams, LinkedIn, Facebook, 2 YouTubes, and 3 Instagrams, right? Like, so you can have a digital tour. So she's on physical tour.
Shout out to Naisha for that. I've never seen that before.
Bruh, it's lit. Like she's ahead of the game. Like my spiritual therapist is lit. Shout out to the Geminis, but this is Aries season right now. So in that, they hit us up and asked us, and even in her questioning, because she's still media, she's coming out of the indoctrination system. She's successful as hell. Both their whole family is, but she's walking into my world now. And she asked me, she was like, so this is going to be her freedom, right? It's going to be her. I'm like, yo, I'm more her than anything. And I because I was raised by feminine presenting frequencies and vibrations, it put me in a position where I'm open to suggestions. And then my body being open, my heart space being open, it allows me to come in and feel it out and listen and be around. I've been queer for the past 2 years. Like since I've been to the Bay, and like the Bay turned me out. And I'm queer, but like my gender doesn't have anything to do with my sexual orientation, because like I said, a lot of individuals are unaware of their identification because it was taken away from them, and then they was unaware of they're unaware of not being authentic because they're not accepting a part of them. They haven't healed that. And like I said, I don't take it personal, but I know our tour that we're doing right now is healing our family's hurts. It's like the tour just ended, and I had the best conversation in the past few months with my cousin.
That's awesome.
It was short.
I mean, it's the Heaven's Cross.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And it was like we was right back talking from like 2014, 2015.
And that's and to build off of why, like, whenever you observe society, the narrative that comes, it's important to observe the narrative that comes from the very top of the chain and from the very bottom of the chain. Top and bottom just being relative descriptions of what people have had to engage with in certain levels of trauma. So levels of top, like we're in the United States, or in this world, the media is run by the Jewish media, the red media. So they have a specific narrative. And then those who are affected by that narrative are the highly melanated, queer, transgender, non-conforming individuals who are, or like it's like levels of oppression or like different levels of engagement. So there's disabled, there's fat, there's melanation, there's like body types and stuff. And so those that are disabled and highly melanated, queer, like there's certain levels of rungs of the systems of oppression, and society actively is targeting those that are at the quote unquote bottom of the rung, because those who are at the quote unquote bottom of the rung actually have the most wisdom and knowledge on how the system actually works. Because those who are utilized as, and this system of capitalism utilizing people as chattel,
Yep.
people who have been utilized as chattel the most have the most authentic experience of how the system actually works. And that's why, especially engaging with the conversation about queer, that's why so many people are stuck on gender roles, because if you, at least you stick to a certain gender role, there's a certain power dynamic that you can use there.
Yeah, man. I stand on my power.
Mm-hmm.
And I get my power from my ancestors that crossed over recently, and the Dondas and the Nina Simones. Listen, like I told you, like your skin privilege gives us access to that world.
Mm-hmm.
Like our baby skin privilege give us access. Being a parent gives you access to worlds, right? Like, and I share this because when I opened up my mind from taking acid, and being around two other guys and feeling their frequencies and watching them express teacher student roles, like the hierarchy, and then also watching them express there's an intimacy that one of them had for the other, but the other one didn't let it take offense to it. Like they both was heterosexual, one was bisexual, from my understanding.
Mm-hmm.
But just knowing that they were able to engage with those energies and not cross that line of disrespecting whatever their belief is. Like that's what I learned most about the Bay Area. Like
there's
be
more
you.
space.
Yeah, yo, there's way more space to be
yeah.
you. Like,
which makes sense, because when you look at the flow of the energy, the colonizers came on the East Coast, colonized heavily on the East Coast, and then spread thin. There was more time for the colonizers to spread their seed.
Bay Area only been around for 172 years. They ain't even hit 2 centuries yet. So y'all infants. So they actually the Ohlone territory. So I went out to the Bay and I tapped into the ancestors. Like Lake Merritt is a meeting ground for spiritual leaders of the Ohlone tribe. They meet there because it's like not all the way north. It's North California, but it's not all the way North California, and it's close enough to where the Ohlone land went all the way down to San Diego, so that the people can make that journey. So that was like a midway point.
Mm-hmm.
And in that, this talking about Lake Merritt, learning these things is not because I went and studied it. It's not because I lived on the land and I let nature and the ancestors speak to me through the natives.
Right. You listen to, and that's the thing. It's like that, because something that this conversation is now making me think about is what privilege is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes to spiritual privilege, you have more access. Like, how do you get access to knowledge of self? And that is an interesting conversation that comes up, because it's a lot of those who ingest the colonizer narrative. A lot of people have ingested the colonizer narrative.
They forced it.
Mm-hmm.
You get the history of the victors of any war, and the colonizer has waged war on Abayella, Turtle Island, since they got here.
And spiritual privilege is like I feel like that's like the old soul kind of vibration. Like I grew up in the suburbs, and I actively. Oh, I'm just holding them.
Okay.
You want to hold them?
Yeah, you said they grew up in the suburbs.
Yeah. Like how, like us engaging, I have access to the world of liberation because of your relationship to it, right? Like I'm not from the highly melanated community, I'm from the suburbs. And because of the fact that I've been actively studying myself and actively just allowing my heart space to lead me, it brought me to this space where now we are communicating, and I, because of your relationship with the liberation mindset and with more members of the community that are actively engaging in liberation and nation building,
Mm-hmm.
I have access to that world just like you have access to my world, where we can funnel the assets and resources to funnel and pay for the liberation movements that are happening.
I just reverse engineer what the government did to us. Like my corn magic, I told you, like in '88, they funneled cocaine and crack into America, and then they allowed it to fester in the the hoods or the lower income areas.
And at the same time, they were funneling the message of the war on drugs through the media to fuck up the mindset of those who are highly colonized to not actually be able to see what the truth of what was going on. Oh, they're creating the narrative, the same narrative that they've been utilizing of savagery.
Yep, like yo, they are savages.
Right.
They're looters. They're this. Like, no, I'm a king. My child is a king. Like, I'm a god.
Right.
Like, I'm a
God-triarch.
prophet. Like, so, like, when you don't know who you are, somebody can tell you. Somebody can tell you whoever they want you to be.
Right.
And that's what the history books have done. Like, I went to public school, and then I tested out of public schools. I got opportunity to go to privileged schools, but my mom was a hater, bro. Like, cause she loved my light, so she created these obstacles for me to jump over. That like really was just a sign of trauma. That like she didn't want to let me go. Like some children at the age of 14, 13, they can go and help bring income in the household. Like I've been working since my freshman year. Actually, be real, I've had my first job working for my great grandmother at her store. Like I'm sweeping up her store. Like that's one of the first things that I learned how to do is earn income. And I brought up the crack and then reverse engineering because I'm doing the same thing this country did to my country. I'm just reverse engineering the new crack. And you know what the new crack is? Media, education, just media. So we can say social media, but media.
But media, period.
Media. Yeah. So media, because that's how you control a popular culture.
And spirituality, the love and light. People love the love and light vibration because it's so easy to just get all lusty and be like, oh God, like everything
feels so good.
Everything feels so good, and I'm not gonna do the work.
I don't know the words to say. I just don't have. No, you feel good. You take a breath, and then you explain what the fuck you feel. You pervert.
That's the thing. I'm gonna be 1000% with you. I have a war on perversion. Like that's my war. That's my vengeance. You feel it ain't on white people. It's on perverts that don't know how to control their energy around children. Because you know what? I got children. Like I have children, and my children go wherever I go.
Right, so, and that's what they're attacking. They're attacking the inner child when they're all of this is because when it comes to liberation, when it comes to all of these in-depth discussions, this is all spirit coming back to itself.
That's it.
Spirit is love. Spirit is unconditional love. Spirit is communication. Spirit is all of that. It is all of that love and light bullshit that we're talking about being bullshit. It is the harmony. It is the resonance of the high frequency. It is the entering of the fifth dimension. But in order to get to the fifth dimension, we have to do the work in the third dimension and clean up and engage with the low density vibrations so that we can actively have a communication between the vibrations and get to the next level.
And that's why I'm here. Like I've been patiently building out nations and having access to a network. Yeah, I went to the army to learn a system. I'm a veteran. And I wear that title proudly, nigga. I wear my veteran status proudly. I don't care if I got kicked out, nigga. I finished boot camp. Like I can shoot something 300 yards away, my nigga, and tag it. So like I don't need guns now. Like that's a masculine patriarch way of living. I'm a spiritual fucking savant.
And this is also where the balance comes in, right? Because when we talk about God-triarch, this is where we accept the fact that that is a vibration that is necessary. This is where we shout out to our street soldiers who are actively going out and clearing frequencies. Because when it comes to the ancestors, like every vibration is necessary. Every person's life purpose is, whether they realize it or not, they're still actively engaging because everything is in divine order.
And we got shooters. We got shooters on deck. We got stick-up kids.
We got reverence for the homies who are out there on the block, yo.
Yep. Like
we got reverence for the homies who are out here, like, who are actively engaging with that patriarchal energy of, like, I gotta shoot things because, like...
I gotta shoot things. I gotta kill things.
Because that's a level of... That's a certain vibration, and that vibration is necessary, just like every level of vibration is necessary. So we got reverence for those who are out here in these streets and out here actively engaging in violence. Those are our soldiers.
They are the soldiers. Speaking of soldiers, shout out to Elijah from New York. He said, what a beautiful baby. A beautiful child.
Thank you.
My brother. But I'm a brother and a sister and a boomy and a mother. Like the conversation that we're talking about is accepting the masculine and feminine frequencies inside of you, and what is it like to be a gender non-conforming family, like where that have privilege and that has access, that has trauma. Like this is the thing,
and interracial too.
Yeah,
That's huge.
So like I told you when I saw your mission, right? Speak Freely mission was to highlight people like me, and to make sure that people like me who are indigenous and tuned into their indigeneity
get the assets,
get their taxes,
so that we can fund the liberation movements that are happening. Because the government's not going to do it. Reparations aren't going to get paid by the government.
Fuck your reparations.
Until we get to the point where we infiltrate the mindsets of those who are actively in the government.
Go ahead.
Because the people who are actively working in government, when it's like mid to higher level positions of government, they are the people who live in the suburbs.
Yep.
And the thing is that you can engage this whole thing is about socioeconomic and class. And so being able to communicate to those who are living in the suburbs and actively funnel assets and resources from the place of this is about family. This is about family, this is about children, this is about making sure that family units stay together, and that we can actively build out systems where the children can have every opportunity to be their most empowered self.
Oh, you don't want me to, like, he doesn't like when I pick up that. They don't like when I pick up the extra. So, like, for those that know, what you just said was I'm glad you're tying the pieces together.
Yeah, man, that's what we do.
And that's what the purpose of doing these segments. So, like this, every Wednesday, we don't have the set time yet. It'll be rolling out soon, but every Wednesday we hop on for knowledge, wisdom, love, and laughter. That's our new podcast. So we stream to all of these places. So then we go back and repurpose the content so that, like, Speak Freely is media. Like they started off as an open mic, but then they wanted to funnel assets and resources back to people like me.
Because the thing about Speak Freely, it's not just it's a very large scale mission, because it's damn near like the mission of media right now.
Yep.
Because
fuck red media. Because
like my intention for it, it wasn't even just my intention. I was just allowing it to be channeled through from the ancestors. It's a mass media collective of those who are actively engaged with liberation movement. And liberation movement isn't just those who are out on the front lines. Liberation movement is those safe, brave spaces, open mics, or programs,
art galleries,
right? Programs,
talent shows for youth.
And when you're and the way to communicate it to people who are heavily programmed is, don't you want to watch news that makes you feel happy?
Yeah, bro.
That has access to resources, so when you're watching the news, you're not fucking scared. Or when you're engaging with media that's actively making you feel empowered, like, and it's not like Speak Freely is the one who's actively creating all the media. It's the collective of people who get what Speaking Freely is and getting together. Because the thing about the Malcolms and the Martins is that there was only one figure.
Yeah, man.
But if there's a bunch of vibrations that are actively communicating with high level, like the leaders of the leaders, if there's people who have followings after them and there's multiple of these leaders who are actively doing the work, then it's literally the power of the people.
Yeah, that's
very simple.
And that's why when we started off talking about 19 keys and they're not being fully versed in that conversation. We would love to talk to you. This is how people call out back in the day or in the street. Yo, we would love to talk to you.
Come through 19 keys.
Yeah, come
you
through.
Out here the Bay?
Listen, we summoning you.
Yeah.
Because you done spoke shit into my family, my nigga. Like, that's the thing, bro. Like, I don't give a fuck if you the Pope themselves. The moment that you speak some shit into my family that causes us to have anything, we coming for your ancestry. I'm a pimp by blood, not relation.
Because we're aliens.
And like, I pimp profits and frequencies and energy. I don't have to pimp people no more. That's low level. They did that in the 80s.
And when we talk aliens, that just means we channel fifth dimension or higher into the physical realm, so that the humanoids can communicate with us. So
all the high level conversation we come in with for Billy Carson, all of them, it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be awesome watching. It's gonna be awesome watching. What's his name? Dame Dash and 19 Keys engage.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I've been pushing energy through all of them. Like when we about to wrap it up, but I'm just share with y'all. Like
We've been establishing our media network since MySpace, since Black Planet, since Yahoo Chat.
Yo, you have the dopest network, bro.
I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
I appreciate
Absolutely.
it.
I've only engaged with like a very small amount of it.
I've only engaged with a small percentage of it. That's why I'm like, yo, I'm ecstatic for the parts that vibrate higher now.
Yeah, man.
And like honestly,
thank you for trusting Speak Freely and aligning with Speak Freely. Like when I first met you, like when we were sitting down on the 2 mats when we were at the Speak Freely event, I was like, yo, like this was partially made for you. This was made for you. But that's because Speak Freely was made for the people who are actively drawn to it, because it's not just like I'm just the seed. My avatar allows it to have the shit where you can kick down doors. I'm the door kick downer.
Yeah, man. They're the wedge. They're the wedge. And like finding a wedge, I call it the back door. when you find the back door, right? When you find the back door, it's amazing.
Yeah,
because
man.
finding the back door, you don't have to go through the red tape in the red media. So you go through the back door and then you plant seeds into their children and their children's children.
And the reason,
listen, I'm gonna be 1000% with you. My ability to infiltrate somebody that's on the other side, that's government, that is in your vibration, and then we created the baby. We planted one of the biggest viruses in middle America to wealthy America's
government America.
All that, like I said, you said it. Our avatars benefit each other.
Absolutely. We're creating a schedule for this. Shout out to People's History of New Jersey. What up?
Hey.
And the thing is that when the question comes of like, the thing is that this is all about faith, right? Like the reason why people are being torn into the lower dimensions is because they're tying into the illusion of what fear is. Fear is just a place for us to look at ourselves in the eyes and be like, I'm scared of something.
Something scares me.
So that means that I can go to the next level if I look my fears in the eyes and say, I'm no longer afraid of you because I know what this is.
Bro, I literally was on the bus and like every time somebody compliment my Basquiat, Sponge Basquiat Jordans by Neo Negas, I think they want them. Because most of the time when people compliment something, it's because they want them or they really like it. And my mom told me if she really likes something, she's going to get it off your back. So like, honestly, like, honestly, so
she's
whenever
such a boss, dude.
I'll get thoughts of the fear, but fear is just fractal evidence appearing real. Like there's like fractal particles, right? So once you take a breath, we're gonna do that right now. Let's take some breath. Take another breath. Blow it out. Once you take a breath, you're able to think more clearly, and how you be saying like, all is me, all is mine, this is all us.
Because we're just hopping dimensions, y'all. The physical realm is only 0.01% of all reality. What we perceive in the physical realm is only 0.01% of all that exists. 99.99% of existence is vibrations, sound, and light.
I'm changing it back to homie.
So I'm gonna take baby crying as us getting close to the end of our podcast, because this has been an excellent series of downloads. This started with gender non-conforming.
Oh no, and like I said, 19 keys. Because I saw him today. I know. We saw him, and then that's one of the first things you said when you came back in. I was like, oh, it's time for us to communicate, homie.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you soon, because like I said, it's been about 3 years now since we invested in the BWO. Like, I invested in Black World Order. I showed up, I shared their shit, I made content.
I was just saying what up to cuz.
Yeah, and investing in Black World Order, like really knowing what Black is, what is that frequency, and the Black and Brown community that are tuned into their E5 is real. And like I said, he stepped on the blue pill. He stepped on the red pill. So good job. Man. Good job.
And just to finish this out, always, I'm gonna take this directly from the comment that I posted on your thing. The reason why we do what we do is because we are on mission. What is the mission? The mission is...
Yeah, mad poop.
Whoa. Whoa.
Look, now I'm about to put the diaper on. Look, the diaper.
Hey, cuz. Love you, cuz. The mission
Yo,
is...
what up, Big? I just talked about you.
Yeah, we were talking about you today.
No, I
Man.
just talked about his sponge Basquiat. Like,
Oh,
I just
yeah,
said
you
Neo
did,
Ninjas.
huh?
Uh-huh. Like within the past 5 minutes.
That's fucking dope.
Yes.
Damn, what is the post that you told me to look at? The mission is to align assets and resources for liberation so that we can go to the next level of dimension, because in order to clear out... Damn, I wrote it so succinctly.
It's all good. Take your time. There's
I'ma
no
find
rush.
it.
No one's rushing to get off. Baby poop diaper is good.
Whoa, look at all these Earth-like planets. Cool.
Earth-like planets. Multi-dimensional being.
369 Mindset Consulting? Is that where you posted it?
Which post is it?
It's the one where... This one, where I wrote... The mission is to align the nations and establish foundations for legacies of liberation through authentic self-expression and asset relocation. We are actively elevating the mindsets, making sure that our children have legacies that they can actively be their most authentic selves without the colonizer mentality in it. And we're doing that by funneling assets and resources from the... funneling assets and resources from... reallocating assets and resources.
We're funneling them from the suburbs into our neighborhoods that deserve.
Yes, that's exactly. We're just being ourselves. In a child shit.
Yo, can we end it out in some breath work and prayer?
Absolutely. You got the prayer. I'll do the breath work.
Yeah.
All right. So I'll take my own damn advice and sit up straight.
There you go. Be like, sit up straight. Mine said, no, I like to dim my light a little.
Damn, you just told on yourself just now.
I know, I do it. I told you that was in my algorithm.
So for breath work, we're going to inhale. For all of these breaths, we're just remembering that breath is what connects us to life. When we inhale, we're filling our lungs up with unconditional love for ourselves. Inhale. We exhale the ocean. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Allow yourself to be still as you exhale. On this last breath, we're going to connect to the sound Om, which is the first sound of the universe. So it connects us to the beginning of the universe. Inhale. And exhale the Om. Om. Can you lead us in prayer?
Absolutely. The Father, Mother, Son. Oh yeah, oh love ya. Can you take baby?
Ashe, Ashe.
Oh yeah, oh shuna. Making
a way.
Oh yeah, Yemiya. And
Renee.
I said, we love you today as we wake and we pray. As the ancestors call, we're grateful for this moment. May we be peace-filled. May we be happy, healthy, and honorable. May we live with love, laughter, and surrounded by loyalties.
Mm-hmm.
May our family and friends be peace-filled. May they be healthy, happy, and honorable. May they live with love, laughter, authentic love, tons of laughter, and surrounded by loyalties. And may our trespassers and they dumbasses be peace-filled, way over there. May they be healthy, happy, and honorable. Have some fucking honor.
With y'all fuck ass colonizer shit. It's
All
cool
that
though.
way over
It's
there
cool.
though. Stay
It's
in colonizer land.
It's cool.
And may they live way over there with love, laughter, and loyalty. Yo, and I'm gonna just answer those last two. If you want to help, we'll let us know. We'll reach out. We'll send our link tree. We'll schedule a calibration call, and we'll move forward. And we that man, we can sit back and talk about the gender role aspect as well.
Absolutely, because you loving your gender roles is you loving yourself.
Yeah, you good. We love our non-conforming gender roles, and as superheroes and aliens, as high level. I'm a high level shaman. Like nobody talk to my energy unless they can push through our barriers. We have tons of landmines and barriers all around us. I walk around with a big ass talking stick, and that stick is my shotty. And this is the thing, baby says time to go. So peace and love. Y'all send us some information if y'all want to get more.
We appreciate you. Can't wait to connect. For those of us who are aligned with us, thank you for tapping in. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you abundantly.
Y'all stay blessed and flavored.
Mm-hmm.
Peace.
Okay. On the boob you go. On the boob you go. On the boob. On the boob. On the boob. Oh,